Now this is something we see all over Santa Fe, these little doors. And I was wondering what the story with them is.
This is marble from Mexico. And it comes from a little town in the north side of the country where I make a deal with a little old man that don't want to work anymore. And he opens his quarries for me only once a year.
Remember this master bedroom 3 months ago?
It was like a cold, damp mud hut.
It sure was.
Funding for this old house is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of safe and simple, environmentally responsible stains and finishes that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by
State Farm Insurance, keeping our promise of protection with auto, home, life, and health insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Jim.
You got the rest of our plants here?
You bet, and they look great, too.
Wonderful. Let's have a look.
Hey, you gonna have the place all ready for the big party tomorrow night?
I don't think it's going to be even any problem. We've even got my wife's mother here to help.
Okay, let's get this stuff unloaded.
All right. Gee, aren't these plants beautiful, Steve?
Boy, that is gorgeous. Hey, what's this beautiful orange one here?
That's a clivia.
Yeah.
Now, at this altitude, we have to treat this as an indoor plant.
So that'll go inside.
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
And look at this. This is a hibiscus here.
I recognize
look
that.
at the color. Isn't it gorgeous?
Gorgeous. Now, what's this one here?
It's trained as a topiary.
San Jose juniper, huh?
Yeah. And we're going to put these in pots. We'll put them just outside the portal so that they get some sunshine.
Yeah. Boy, once you get all of these planted up in these terracotta pots and watered in, arranged out here, it's really a movable landscape. I think it'll be wonderful, especially with the eastern exposure of this portal.
That's right.
Now, your mission this weekend was to figure out a stain program in the kitchen. How'd you make out on that?
Really well. Come on, I want to show you what we've accomplished.
Okay.
What do you think of this, Steve?
Yeah, what is it?
Well, it's a combination of 5 parts silver birch and 1 part special walnut.
Yeah, it's just right. I like it a lot.
What I like best about it is it's non-allergenic, and I've got terrible allergies, and this is a water-based product.
Now, does it change at all when it's dry?
A little bit. Let me show you over here on a door.
Hey, you got the doors done. All right, good for you. This really does tone down. It's much browner, and it seems to blend in with the plaster and the rest of the materials of the house. That is a nice door, too. I bet you had to have it custom built, huh?
No, actually, this is a stock item, Steve.
No kidding. Looks real nice in a southwestern motif like we have here. Beautiful hardware, too. Now, how about the windows? Inside, same stain. Outside, paint, huh?
That's right, Steve. Here in Santa Fe, we've got to be concerned about UV deterioration. We've got freeze-thaw problems. The guys here like to use a latex paint.
Over oil.
Definitely, yes.
You know, what really knocks me out about these buildings is the incredible plaster job. Now, earlier, John Wolf and I had a chance to watch the masons apply the exterior plaster. A lot of changes out here, John.
Well, we're getting ready to put the finishes on the exterior of the building. What we've done is that we've come across and put the same polyurethane that we used up on the roof. We had those men come down here and put 2.5 inches of polyurethane on the outside of the adobe before we
sprayed it right on.
That's correct. Now we've also come through and sanded and helped to sculpt the walls and so forth to get ready for this new finished product that we're putting on the walls. Traditionally, had we done an adobe house, you would have, many years ago, just put adobe mud up on the walls, and that would have been your finished plaster. 50, 60 years ago, they began to use Portland products. After 5, 10 years, due to freeze thaws, moisture problems, and so forth, even that hard plaster would begin to disintegrate.
This is the old stucco you're talking about.
That's correct. But now we're using a new synthetic product, which begins by putting on this fiberglass reinforcing matting, which is embedded into the wall using this grounding material.
Okay, what's that
Lanny's
stuff?
putting on. Well, what this stuff is that it's basically about 20% Portland product, and everything else is an enrichment of polymers and acrylic materials. So it has flexibility and elasticity to it for the remainder of its life.
Now, how long does that take to dry?
About 24 hours. And then you're ready to begin with the finish coat, which is what we're doing back over here.
Oh, look at that. Now, is the finish coat the same material?
No, it isn't. This is all synthetic materials.
And what's the advantage of that?
Well, what it is that if you have any thermal conditions where one wall is directly facing the sun, those dark colors absorb the heat. And when you turn the corner and there's not as much sun hitting that wall, there develops a crack condition there, which is called thermal shock. This avoids and makes thermal shock basically non-existent.
Now, is the color built right into it?
It certainly is, and it comes in a wide variety of colors, any color you'd dream of.
Well, how often do you have to repaint this?
Well, maybe every 30 years.
30 years, then. That's great.
Yeah, maybe then you have to just hose it down.
Great, great. Now, what are you doing up here on the roof of your portal?
Here's another system, our metal roofing system. Now, that was a low-maintenance system. Wait till I show you another low-maintenance system we're putting on over the portal.
This is a standing seam metal roof.
That's correct. And what it is, it comes in 12-inch wide, 10-foot long pieces, and it just simply clips in.
Steel?
That's correct, 24-gauge steel. And it's been carefully painted and has a 20-year guarantee with it as well. Brian, go ahead and let's see how easy this goes in.
So normally in a metal roof, wouldn't you have a lot of fabrication to do right on site, right on the roof?
That's correct. There used to be a lot of crimping and soldering that used to go on years ago. This system here, we simply just put this batten over the clips, and we've moved along.
Well, look at that. That is easy.
Now, the slope on this roof is a 2 and 12 slope. This is about as minimal a condition as this roof system can go down.
What about maintenance?
No maintenance whatsoever. There it is.
That's beautiful. Hey, well, you look like you're flying along on this job, and I don't think you're going to have any trouble making your deadline for
we're
the final
sure
party.
trying. We're trying. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Well, it sure looks to me as though John Wolf and his band of craftsmen have finished their mission for the week. John, you're just about ready to turn the key over to the homeowner.
What do you think of this hardware?
It's gorgeous stuff.
Well, what I like is this 1-inch case-hardened steel throw bolt. Now that's security.
Yeah, hey, the rest of the stuff is not too shabby either, I'll tell you.
Well, here on these heavy doors, these doors weigh over 300 pounds, so we had to put 5 hinges on each door leaf.
5 is not overkill?
No, it's not. This door has to work as very smooth, and we have these ball-bearing hinges that give the door a real smooth action. Check it out.
Yeah, that's really something. Hey, these surface mount deadbolts are pretty nice too.
Solid brass.
Now, do you have to custom fabricate those?
No, they just came from the catalog.
No kidding.
Yes, 24 inches.
Now, this is something we see all over Santa Fe, these little doors. And I was wondering what the story with them is.
Well, in the old haciendas, they used to have big courtyards that people would drive in with their carriages. You'd open up both doors, the carriage and the horses would come through.
Yeah.
The foot traffic would only use the small inner door, so it's a door within a door.
Right, yeah, that makes sense, and it makes a real dramatic entrance here.
Certainly does.
Now, we've got the obligatory security system.
Oh yes, we have the perimeter security system for all the windows and the exterior doors. We also have in here a smoke detector too that automatically, in case of a fire, will phone the fire department.
I think that's a great feature.
Yes.
Now, how'd you make out on the high-tech flooring?
Oh, wonderful. That went down very well.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
a real dream. Well, the majority of the house has flagstone, except for the master bedroom, the dining room, and the new library we've chosen to put in wood. Woods give us more of a comfortable, soft feel.
This is nice stuff. What is it, oak? No.
No, this is ash.
Yeah.
I know. The system went down like a breeze. Take a look at this, Steve. What we did is first put down an 1/8-inch foam mat over the concrete slab. We then had 10-foot pieces, all the same width, pre-finished.
Now, what is this stuff? It looks like a plywood here.
That's right. It's a laminated material.
All the edges are pre-finished.
That's correct.
About an 1/8-inch veneer on the top.
That's right.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Pre-finished. Went down very easy. We'd take the 10-foot long pieces. Every 16 inches, we'd put down about 2 inches of glue.
It's regular carpenter's glue.
That's correct. And just see how they compress.
With not much persuasion, it goes right together.
That's right.
When you can see that in the rest of the floor, you can hardly see the joints at all. Now, how about the edges?
Now that was a little bit difficult. Here we had to do some scribing. Had this been a conventional installation, we would have had some straight walls, and we would have left a 3/8-inch gap for expansion and contraction, and then we would cover that gap with a wood molding or baseboard.
Right.
But here with the adobe walls, we've chosen to just leave a 1/4-inch gap and scribe all the way up against the irregular adobe walls. We're going to fill this crack with some flexible caulk.
Yeah. Now, are you going to have any problems with expansion, with the floor buckling and so on?
I talked to the manufacturer about this, and I told him that the ambient humidity in Santa Fe is very low during the summer, and during the winter we have the heat coming up to the floor, so basically we should have a very stable situation here.
Great. It looks great, John. Now, my other objective today is to catch up with Richard Trethewey. Have you seen him?
Oh, he's up on the roof taking a look at the air conditioners.
Okay. I'll catch you later.
You got it.
Hey, Hey, Richard.
Hi, Steve.
You got some air conditioning for us? You know, summer's on the way.
Well, we're almost ready. We just need the electrical wiring to be done.
Yeah.
But let me show you what we've got here. This is the outside condenser unit for our studio and for our master bedroom.
So where's the duct work?
Well, that's the difference. This system has no ductwork. It's called a split-type air conditioner. From these outside condenser units, we have 2 copper lines that are filled with refrigerant.
Right.
They go down to our inside units. We pick up heat from the inside, bring it back through the other pipe, and exhaust it out to atmosphere.
Okay.
Let me show you those inside units.
All right. Now, what's the advantage of a split system, Richard?
Well, a couple of things. One, you can have room-by-room zone control. It's easy to retrofit into an existing building, and the inside units are whisper quiet.
Now, I notice, Richard, you can put the inside units on any wall. You're not restricted to an exterior wall.
As long as we can get those refrigeration lines to the units.
I see. How do you turn this one on?
Well, you need another clicker, don't you?
Another clicker.
A wireless remote that says that you're either too cool, okay, or too warm.
All right. I'll take too cool. Now, what about the rest of the mechanicals?
Let me show you. Steve, as you know, it takes a lot more energy to boil an egg when you're camping in the mountains versus at sea level.
So we're boiling eggs in here?
No, we're not, but we had to take the 7,000-foot altitude into account.
I see.
And this boiler was oversized by about 20%.
I see.
It's a gas-fired cast iron boiler that'll heat the building, but we also had to take into account sizing for our hot water tank right here.
So that stores the hot water.
Right.
What's this contraption here?
Well, more and more people are concerned about the quality of the municipal water supply in this country.
Sure, they buy bottled water.
Right, but don't be misled. Most bottled water is just municipal water that's been filtered. So more and more people are thinking about trying to get some filter system into their house. This manufacturer has combined a water conditioner and softener, purifier, and filter into one package unit.
Great.
Great. Now I want to show you a terrific bathroom.
Okay.
Boy, what a difference, huh?
Oh, yeah. Remember this master bedroom 3 months ago?
It was like a cold, damp mud hut.
It sure was. Yeah, and I like the Kiva fireplace.
Yeah, I saw the scene where you got in the way on this one.
Wayne had to look out for his toes.
Let me show you in here. First thing that gets me is this skylight. This natural light is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is how traditional fixtures really look so different in the southwestern setting with the marble. I love this countertop height. It's terrific.
Yeah.
Take a look in here. Wouldn't everybody kill for this?
Yeah.
Full-size closet.
Our wives would fill it up with clothes.
Yeah, it wouldn't take too long. The modular system, which is great. You can really get the most cubic feet out of this room.
Yeah, and you can see what's in the drawers, too.
Let me show you here. What they did is they picked a one-piece toilet, but they put it nicely into this alcove, which is terrific.
One piece makes it easy to clean.
Yeah, there's no seam to worry about down here. They picked out a whirlpool tub, and it fits beautifully in here. It really looks like it belongs.
Yeah.
What do you think of the fixtures?
Well, I like them a lot. I was wondering why there are 3.
Well, in our state and many states across the country, they would insist upon a single lever valve which would prevent scalding out of that shower head. And I'm amazed that that's not a national code issue for safety.
That surprises me a bit, too. But what do you think of the marble?
I love it. I've never seen this stuff before, but I like it.
No, well, we hadn't either until a recent trip to Juarez, Mexico, where we stopped first at the yard where they cut the marble for the kitchen counters. Well, John, it's not hard to get down here to Mexico at all.
No, a quick flight from Santa Fe to El Paso, and then a short drive across the border into Ciudad Juarez.
Well, now, this is no sleepy little border town, as one might have imagined.
It's 1.5 million people doing all kinds of different kinds of manufacturing, from television sets to automobiles. But the main reason I brought you down here was to see the source of the countertops. And this is Elsa Defour. This is Steve Thomas.
Hello. How do you do?
Nice to meet you.
And John Medjed.
How do you do? Elsa Defour.
Now, what is this stuff, Elsa?
This is marble from Mexico. And it comes from a little town in the north side of the country where I make a deal with a little old man that don't want to work anymore, and he opens his quarries for me only once a year. What he cuts, I have to buy. He trucks it, and we get it here.
So it's trucked in, stockpiled here, and then what happens to it?
If we want to work with it and turn it into slabs, I'll show you the machine that turns it into something workable.
Sure, let's go see.
Let's go look.
Well, also, how many people do you have working for you here?
I have 20 people in this plant.
Good, that's quite a few. So this is the machine, huh?
This is the machine that cuts the marble.
And this is what, a big block of marble sitting on there?
It's a gang saw with 20 blades that cuts the marble.
Oh, I see. These are really just flat bars of steel.
Yeah.
And down here are the teeth.
Yeah, those are teeth that are made with an industrial diamond, and that's the only thing that can cut marble.
I see. And they get a little water on them, and about how fast does it cut?
About 4 inches an hour.
I see. Now, what's all this down here? This base?
That's a cement and plaster of Paris mixture that they set that in so it'll hold the marble tight while the machine is cutting
of course. Also, how often do you have to change the teeth on your saw?
At my necessities, I don't have to buy them very often, thanks to God, because they cost about $30,000 a set of diamonds.
30,000. That's an expensive saw blade.
Very expensive operation. The first operation after this is to take it and polish it.
How long does it take to polish a piece like this?
Usually to go through all the motion, they polish about 10 meters in 8 hours.
Running through all the different buffing heads.
Yeah, 10 meters is about 100 square feet in 8 hours shift.
I see. Now, Jim and Joanna actually drove down here from Santa Fe to choose their countertops. About how long a trip is that?
It's a nice, easy 5-hour drive from Santa Fe.
5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying to see what they've picked out.
Well, this is it. Basically,
Look at that.
this is what we're going to use on the countertops.
That is beautiful. Has this been polished?
No, it hasn't been polished yet, but let me show you the way it's going to look when they polish it.
You can
Échale agüita.
just put some water
Just
on
put
it.
some water and you see the color and the shine that it's going to have when it's
Oh, that
polished.
is beautiful. That is beautiful. Now, you're not going to use this in the shower.
No, we're using a much thinner material that's a different system completely that we're working on in another plant that we need to go over and look at.
Well, let's go have a look. Elsa, thank you very much for showing us your operations.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Elsa. Pleasure.
You're welcome.
You know, Steve, as architects, we're not unused to working with the thicker slabs of marble that we've just seen.
Right, for flooring and countertops, even siding
Right.
skyscrapers.
Or historically, it's been used for everything. The trick or the secret has been to come up with a thinner, more flexible material that we can use in many more applications. Now, my friend Manuel Savignac has come up with a system that we're going to see here this afternoon. Manuel Savignac, Steve Thomas.
Very pleased to meet you,
Very
Steve.
pleased
Welcome.
We're very pleased to meet you. Well, tell us about the system.
Well, to be able to do the system, we have to cut the marble to 3/8 of an inch thick by 4 inches. And with this, at random lengths, we can put it together with fiberglass. But before that, we would have to begin with blocks to be able to cut it from. May I show you?
Sure.
Now that is the way the strips come out.
Well, look at that. It cuts just like salami here. What's next?
From here, then we put them together to make the system.
Okay. Gracias.
These pieces of marble that we have cut over there are made then into the panels. These are the pieces that we have just cut.
So
Then
this
they're-
could be a shower stall in Phoenix or a paneling on a bank building in Boston.
Absolutely, that's right. And here we are putting the pieces together so all the joints will be covered.
Now this is a polyester resin that
This-
you're putting in the joints.
That is correct. That is a polyester resin. And that is what we are going to attach the fiberglass to. When it's all together, then they spread the material that is going to be the adhesive for the fiberglass that is going on it. But as you can see, this is a very tacky material, and it holds all of the back very, very well because it is a cloth, like I was telling you.
Manuel, how long is this going to stand up?
Well, I think it's, we have done tests of 10 years, but actually I think that if you use it in a normal way, you're never going to have any problem with it.
There's really nothing
It is.
to wear out.
That's right. It's a natural marble. It's a rock, so that's it.
How long do these panels have to cure before you can polish them?
Well, they cure in about 2 hours, and with that, then we are able then to put them onto the polishing machine, which is a grinding and polishing machine.
Well, let's see how that works.
Sure.
Now, how exactly does this thing work?
Well, it has a gauging grinding wheel, and then from there it has all the rest of the grinding wheels up to a very fine one that makes it into a very high shine.
So it starts out coarse, they get progressively finer until the polished sheet emerges at the end.
That is correct.
Boy, that is nice and smooth.
I'm glad you like it. Well, actually, this we can make into anything. Furniture, countertops, or shower stalls, or tub enclosures, just anything that you want.
Lead on.
Let's go.
Boy, what is this, Manuel?
This is going to be a conference table. As you can see, it has two colors, the black marble and also the red. And it has also the stripping of brass in between.
That is gorgeous.
These are going to be the sides that go on the edges.
I see.
And with this, then it'll appear a little bit thicker than what it actually is.
And how about these?
Those are going to be pedestals for sculptures or for a glass table. And so the uses are unlimited, really.
And what is this? This is very unusual.
That is a counter that is in the process of being finished. You can see the cross sections there.
Is this the finished product over here?
This is the finished product, and we will be installing it next week. It's a gas company here in the city.
Boy, I can hardly wait to see this type of stuff go into the Asher's residence, and I want to thank you for showing us your plant.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your coming over.
Thanks. Well, it's the final day of the project, and I have to say, it's come together pretty nicely. Of course, later on, we'll have a big party. We expect that every craftsman who worked on this job will show up and help us celebrate. This table will be groaning with southwestern tidbits. Look at this. It's a thermal drape made by a local craftsman. It's composed of several layers of cloth, some of them space age, and he says it gives you an R3 value. Really helps to cut the chill on those cold Santa Fe nights. Well, let me take you into the dream kitchen. Hey, this looks terrific, Norm.
Hi, Steve.
Really came together, didn't it?
Sure did, but I would have never made it on time if it wasn't for the help of Guy Stacy and Maury Kalberg, a couple local finish carpenters, who actually made most of the doors, put the shelves in, and made the drawers.
Well, how'd the doors go on?
Well, the doors are hung with a simple European-type hinge. It's fully mortised into the door, so it's strong. And then it has this attachment here for the face frames that we used. We even have a spring-loaded mechanism, so you don't need any magnetic catches.
Yeah, it looks like it goes on pretty easily, too.
It does.
Now, were these blinds built on site as well?
No, but they were built locally. A local shop just uses some pine as a frame that they've dadoed out, and then they set these twigs of salt cedar in there at a diagonal. I really like the way it looks.
I love the way the light plays through. I think the whole place just came out.
It's about time for you carpenters to get out of my kitchen. I've got a party here in 2 hours.
We're finished.
Hey, have you taken your kitchen for a test drive?
Yeah, I did that yesterday.
Yeah? How do you like it?
I love it. It's
Nice
really
deep
good.
sink.
Yeah.
That curving faucet really lets you get pots under there. Hey, what's in the oven?
Well, that's going to be your pate for this evening. We're doing this with pumpkin seeds, and I hope you like it.
Oh, it sure smells good.
Yeah, it sure does.
Boy, Steve, you gotta like this restaurant-style stove.
Hey, I'm jealous, I'll tell you.
And what I really like about it is that you don't need any clearance, zero clearance. We can put it right up against the wood. You know, the real stoves, you need about 6 inches.
Yeah, it's great.
This is really a nice feature, too. It has automatic lighter
Ignition,
on
No standing pilot, no clickers, no matches. It's great.
Boy, this is a serious range hood, Jim. I'm sure this is going to have no problem removing smoke or heat from this kitchen.
No.
Yeah. You know, Norm, I love the way this microwave built-in feature worked out.
Yeah,
Go right in.
That's the place the microwave really belongs.
Yeah.
That way it's not taking up valuable counter space.
Hope you guys like this jalapeno bread,
More
too.
chilies, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, is this refrigerator big enough for you, Jim?
Just about, Steve. It'll hold, I think the crisper's going to hold about a bushel of these green chilies, and that's enough for me.
You're not cooking all of those for tonight, are you?
Sure am.
Oh, boy.
It's gonna be a hot night, Norm. Hey, I love the marble. This worked out really nicely. It's gorgeous. And you've got a dishwasher in this kitchen.
Yeah, I do. You know, in the old kitchen, Joanna was my dishwasher, but I think I'm going to relieve her of that now.
Speaking of Joanna, is she going to help you prepare this meal for the party?
No, she's too busy in the studio trying to get that set up.
Okay, well, let's go check on her and get out of the chef's way.
Yeah, please do.
Hey, look, Norm. Bill's back.
Back home again.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Joanna. You happy to be home in your studio?
I'm so happy.
I bet you are.
What I was wondering, are you pleased with all the design decisions you made, and more importantly, are you happy with all the work that was done here?
Happy doesn't begin. John Wolf, our wonderful general contractor, did such a beautiful job. Every subcontractor, all the artisans that worked on the job, I wouldn't change a thing.
That's great.
So you do it all again?
In a New York minute.
That's a long one.
It's a real short one.
Now, is it true that in an hour and a half, a mariachi band is going to roll up, unfold, and serenade us?
You got that right, Steve.
It's juice,
John, I gotta tell you that the whole crew, to a man, thinks that you ought to be a national treasure. You have gone out on this project 200%.
It's the men. The men are fantastic, and I'm not kidding you. We worked hard on this job, and the men really put their good energies into it. And your show does celebrate the American workman, and my goodness, here we are.
And what a great way to end this project, isn't it?
Sure is, Stephen. You know, this is at the end of your first season, and I think you did pretty good.
Well, coming from an old veteran like you, that's pretty strong praise. But what do you think we ought to do next year?
Well, you know, there's an awful lot of old houses for sale back home.
So what do you got in mind?
Well, maybe we can buy one, a basic fixer-upper.
Hey, I'm for that. That sounds like a good idea to me. So until then,
I'm Norm Abram.
And I'm Steve Thomas.
For this old house.
Funding for this old house is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of safe and simple, environmentally responsible stains and finishes that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by
State Farm Insurance. Keeping our promise of protection with auto, home, life, and health insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. This is PBS.